Paddy, we're a week into pre-season. Do you enjoy this time of the year?
It's good to see, it's good to see the boys back. They're training hard. They've put in a lot of hard work this week. It's just the first week completed, so it's good to get back on the pitch. Good to see the boys back again as well too, and they're looking in good shape. We've trained really well, so it's usually first week can always be tough if people don't look after themselves in the off season. But no problem. Our boys they've come back in really good shape, so it's a good start.
And pre-season, is it all about fitness or is there more to it than that?
There's a lot goes on the pre-season. You're obviously working on people getting their touch back, getting the feel of the ball, and the timing of stuff, all that. That all takes time. You don't just magically appear on a pitch and everything's back to where it was. So a lot of work will go on. The coaches are working hard with the players. The players are working hard on their game. So a lot of things will happen they have happened so far this week, and a lot more will happen over the next 4 or 5 weeks.
When the games start, does that lift the mood among the players?
It does, surely. It gives them something to look forward to. We've a game now on Tuesday night against Mayola, and then with a really tough fixture here next week against that German side. So it's going to be good to see the boys back on the pitch playing matches. They are training hard, but they want something to look forward to as well. And I'm sure the supporters will like to see them back on the pitch and want to see the new signings. So we're looking forward to the matches starting.
And how do you strike the balance, Paddy, between the players being competitive in practice games and avoiding injury?
Look, it is difficult. Even this morning's session, we picked up 1 or 2 niggles that can happen. Players have been resting for the last few weeks, and then all of a sudden, when you're thrown under the cut and thrust of pre-season, the body takes a bit to get warmed up again. So we've 1 or 2 niggles that can happen. That will happen as part of the game, but. Scott Hughes has come on this year. They look after the players as physio, and he's already shown how good he is at what he's been doing with the players. So some of the players here have been on doing a bit of rehab work, are full of compliments for him. So he's very good at what he does. So we're delighted to have him on board. So they're in good hands if anybody picks up any knocks.
So the Erzgebirge game, do you enjoy matches against continental opposition?
They don't come around too often, unless you qualify for Europe. So when they do come around, you surely try and enjoy them. Obviously they'll play at a high calibre. There'll be a really good standard of play in next week's game. It'll be tough on our boys at times, I'm sure, because they are such a tough opposition, such a high quality side. But there's nothing wrong with it. We've our tough games in pre-season as well. We're going to go down to play Shamrock Rovers, are probably the best side in Irish football over the last number of years. So. They've a tough schedule ahead of them, our boys, but there's nothing wrong with that at times too. It's good to put yourself in against top players.
What will you be hoping to achieve against Erzgebirge?
It's obviously fitness is a key element in any pre-season game. Working on your sharpness and your fitness, and like I say, getting on against top level opposition and see how close or how far away we are as a group and as individuals. So you'll get a lot of questions answered when you play against good sides. It's okay sometimes playing non-league sides or lower level sides and winning comfortably enough. You don't really get a wild out of it, bar 90 minutes. So playing against top level opposition, can definitely answer a lot of questions that you might have in your head.
So you've brought in some new players over the closed season. Are you still looking to add to the squad?
We're always looking to add. You never be satisfied. You have to be greedy as managers and coaches and as clubs. We always want the best for our club. And if players become available or players we see we can bring to the club, we can add to what we already have. We'll do all we can to attract them to Glenavon. There is a lot to be attracted to Glenavon. The pitch and the ground and the club itself is fantastic for any player to come to. So, we're always on the lookout to strengthen. There's no doubt about that. And the additions we've made so far have been really, really top additions. We're delighted with them so far. And what we've seen of them this week in training as well too has justified the reason why we brought them here. So, a long way to go, but so far so good.
How difficult is the transfer market out there attracting new players?
It's extremely difficult. Obviously money makes the world go round. And there's a lot of it about apparently in the league. If you listen to the stories that are going around and the figures that are going around, but it's nobody's business but their own. It's not our business. They talk about that, but it makes it difficult when you're trying to sign a player when our club can give them a lot more finances than we can. But that's one thing I always say to the coach and the Deggy when we're trying to sign a player. If the only interest or the motivation is money, we walk away from it. It's not the players that we want to try and attract here. We want players who are hungry for themselves first and foremost, hungry to do well for this club. You know, they work hard at Glenavon. So if that's the motivation, it's not for us. But it is difficult whenever there's a lot of financial gain elsewhere. But you know, like I say, we can offer them good football and a platform to play and a good side. So you know, if that's enough for them, brilliant.
And finally, Paddy, if you're not able to bring any more new players in, do you feel you have a squad capable of competing in the league this season?
Look, we showed in glimpses last year, and from when I came in, that how good what we currently had, or what we had then, was more than capable of competing against any side. I do believe we've strengthened this year. We've lost 3 or 4 players, but we've brought on 3 or 4, and I do believe we're in a stronger position, stronger squad. The age profile of the player, as you can see, is dramatically been reduced. With the players that have moved on and the players that have come on, you know, so that alone is a plus, you know, because it is a competitive league. A lot of sides are full time, and you know, it's not against the players that have left the club, but I feel the players that we brought on are very athletic and almost professional as it is. We're doing a lot of gym work on their own time, you know, so that's something that we've targeted. We've targeted young players that can probably narrow that gap between full time and part time and doing their own work. So I think we'll be more than competitive next year.
Thanks for your time, Paddy. All the best for the rest of pre-season.